Hello, everyone, and welcome to Table Crashers. My name is Chris Walters, aka Tiny Rhino, and we're here with Dan Letzring from Letiman Games. Dan, say hello to everyone for me.
Hey everyone, how you doing tonight?
All right, so we're going to jump in. The thumbnail is wrong. We're actually playing Neverland Rescue tonight, and that's the game we're going to be talking about. But before we get started, I'm going to do a little bit of our typical spiel. Geek Spiel, in particular, is a PG-13 stream where we are inclusive of all gamers. We want a place for folks to come, show up, be present, and play some games. It's the hobby we all know and love, and we want to keep it going in an environment that's family-friendly. It's friendly for everyone, and folks feel like they can really, truly have a good time. A couple of things to know. Chat is open, right? That's the whole reason we do Twitch, and so please feel free if you have any questions for Dan, whether that's about the game, during the interview portion, during the gameplay portion, whatever that looks like, feel free to ask those. If you want to just participate in witty banter, that's fine. I believe for the game today, I'm going to be on the side of the pirates. So, of course, the dastardly duo are villains that I am. I'm probably going to win, so feel free to heckle Peter all you want.
Good luck with that. I hope you like deduction, because that's what you signed up for.
That's pretty much what I'm doing. Okay. And then the other thing to know is that our Discord is at the bottom of the stream. So feel free, if you're looking for a place, whether that's play pickup games, to join us on our shows, to just engage in general talk about cons, about board games, about RPGs, whatever, feel free to jump in on that Discord. We're a pretty open place for folks just to come in, hop in. We get new people all the time, so feel free to join us. Now that I've gotten all the logistical stuff out of the way, Dan, so we're really here to talk about Neverland Rescue, right? The game that you currently have on Kickstarter. And if I'm correct, you all have what, about 8?
Oh, sorry, you're cutting in and out. Oh no.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I was just gonna say, it sounds like we've got a couple of days, maybe 8 days left on the Kickstarter, right?
Yep. Yeah, there's just over a week left. It ends next Thursday night.
Okay, and what was the inspiration for this game for you? What kind of was, how did this become a passion project? I know you have several Kickstarters or games you all have created in the past, and what makes Neverland Rescue so special?
Sure. So, I was talking to Scott Elms. He's the designer, and we've been talking for a long time. I've been a big fan of his. I love like Harbor, and some of the Tiny Epic games that they've done have been some of my favorite games I've played. So we've been talking for a long time, and just one day we were talking, and actually I told him I wanted to make a game about the Boston Tea Party, and that's how this game started. So one player was like Sam Adams trying to throw tea in the harbor, and the other was the captain of the guard trying to catch him in the act of it. And so that's kind of where it all started from. He had a game that kind of worked with it that was published years ago, and then the company that published it, I think, once the Kickstarter ended, didn't do anything with it, and then eventually he got the rights back, and he was like, I can totally redo this game and make it into what we want. And so we then started working on it, and once we realized, we didn't think the theme connected with that many people, and so we tried to explore new themes that would be, more broader audience, and we came upon this.
Okay. Yeah, while the Boston Tea Party is cool, I feel like a lot more folks typically connect with things like, Peter Pan and some of those kind of Disney-esque type stories.
Yeah, and Scott and I had always talked, we always wanted to work with Jackie Davis. And so we were like, why don't we find something that would work with her art? And she does children's lit art really, really well. So we were like, what could we do? And we kind of explored that world of like, what kind of children's lit or fairy tale art could we explore? And Peter Pan was the best choice for the theme, for the gameplay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we'll get into TTS here in a second, so everyone knows, like, the art's amazing. It's beautiful art. So that's something that I kind of latched onto when we were talking about this project in particular and what we liked about it. Again, that art's just amazing. One of the things that I wanted to ask is, what inspired you all? Again, it sounds like, part of it was the game design and the mechanic that was already there, but what made you want to pick a 2-player game? What made you want to pick or go with like an asymmetrical style kind of board game there?
Sure. Well, so originally it started because he was like, "Oh, I have a project that maybe we
Right.
could work on together." And my wife and I play a lot of two-player only games because a lot of nights it's just the two of us after our daughters go to bed. So we play like Seven Wonders Duel or Cave versus
Right.
Cave, Lost Cities, all of those. And so I was really into a two-player game because I think there's a great need for more of them. I mean, I think there are a lot of games that play well at two, but I wanted one that is specifically made for two. And I love something like The Blood of an Englishman that like depending, it's asymmetrical, and depending on what character you are, it almost feels like a different game altogether, right? And so we realized we could do that with this. We could have one player that was all about deduction and one player all about set collection. And it works really well in that if you or your partner like one over the other, you just play the role that's better suited for you. It's not just like, oh, I don't like deduction, I won't like this game, then just don't play that role. Play Peter Pan and let the people who do like deduction play the other role. But if you like both, then you can just play as the other character and it feels almost like a whole different game.
Okay.
Yes. So, I thought that was a great appeal for what we were going for. And then it works with gamer versus gamer, but we also found that we tailored some of the more deduction and the heavier aspects to Hook. And so Pan has some things that can help him stay even with Hook, but it works great for, say, a parent with a child, like a 10 to 12 plus child playing as Pan, or like a hardcore gamer versus someone who's like more casual as Hook versus Pan, or even if you just wanted like a lighter load that night and you just didn't want to think as heavy. Pan is more maximizing your efficiency and making some right choices and when you use abilities and what cards to go for, and kind of eluding Hook, where Hook has like the brain burning deduction. So.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, again, we talk often about, for us in Geek Spiel, about how those kind of gateway games are integral to getting folks started. And it feels like it has something that appeals to both types, right? The new gamer and the hardcore gamer, like you mentioned. Someone that's, again, if I want to think heavy right now, that's what I can do. But if I also just want to be like, meh, I'm going to collect some sets, it seems like an easy piece.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Yeah. So.
I did want to mention that it sounds like you all have a live stream that's happening tomorrow on Kickstarter. So I wanted to give you a chance to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So tomorrow, I've done a couple right up till now. I love connecting with the people and just talking about it. And I mean, I hate sometimes typing the updates, and I really wanted to address, we're funding right now. And obviously our original goal was we'd love to go way past funding and unlock all these stretch goals. And right now we're hoping to just fund. We've had a good first few days, and then it's stalled a lot in the middle. There are a lot of great projects, and for some reason we just didn't get the traction in the middle. So tomorrow in the live, I'm gonna kind of address what we're going to do, because even if we just fund, I'm going to unlock some cool upgrades. Like, we've kind of retooled some of the things. We're still going to put out a great quality game, but we're finding workarounds to make some really cool upgrades, even if we can't achieve all the ones that we wanted to get. So I wanted to kind of get in touch with the backers, tell them what we're including, what kind of add-ons we're going to do if we fund, and just some things we can do to get there.
Okay. Awesome. Talk to me about Grooves. So Grooves is your most recent Kickstarter before Neverland Rescue, correct?
Groves.
Groves, sorry. I don't know why I said Grooves all of a sudden.
It's all right. It's groovy. So Groves, I did Groves. It was actually 2 Kickstarters ago. I ran a second one at the end of the year as well. But yeah, so I did Groves last year. That was a game by Steve Aramini, and it's a worker placement bag building game. And so it's all about, you're drawing these spirits from your bags, and you place them in these worker placement locations that have a basic action, and anyone you play there gets that basic action. But if you compare the right color spirit with the right color tile, you get both a basic action and a bonus action. So if you can optimize your bag and pull the right spirits, then you can, just make your engines more efficient by just gaining more resources and doing more actions.
Awesome. How is that project? How's Groves different than what like Neverland Rescue has been? Has there been a lot of comparison? Has it been pretty different experiences? Yeah,
it's been very different. They're just very, very different great games, right? So Groves is more like, there's a lot more actions going on in it. It's between 1 and 4 players, so it's down to solo and up to 4. The artwork, the style is very different, right? The artwork's more that watercolor, more adult. Where Neverland, I'm kind of regretting some of, like, I love the art and it was absolutely amazing, but where it's kiddie, I think some people don't realize how much thinking Hook does, and they don't realize how much goes on in there. So I think they just look like very different games. They're very different genres, which is great. I want a big lineup of all different games so that we can appeal to a lot of people with our different products. But yeah, they're very, very different in the type of games that they are.
Gotcha. So it looks like in chat we're having a couple of technical difficulties with us. So again, bear with us as we go through. With that,
Sure.
Dan, I just want to pop into the game here. So
Sure.
we're going to take just a second to transition over to the.
Yep, I'm here.
Something a little different. So it is a 2-player game. So it is me and you playing against each other. Again, you're going to be on the side of Pan.
Yep.
And then I'm taking on the role of Hook here. But we've decided to add, a couple of, actually one in particular, Lost Boy. Chris, aka Digital Carnage, are you there for us tonight?
I am. Thank you for including me as the Lost Boy, though.
Yeah, I figured you'd rather be a Lost Boy, but if you want to be one of my pirate minions, you're more than welcome to.
Well,
I was going to say,
yeah, I could be
Smee. Are you going to be Smee? Are you going to be my number 2?
We have a
I could
Smee
be.
standing over here, but yes.
Yeah, I'll be Smee, and I'll go right in the middle. Right there.
Perfect.
We still have this random token also in there.
Oh
so,
yeah. Get rid of
Dan,
that.
why don't you give us a rundown of the game here? We kind of do like to go with some details, so feel free to just talk through the rules of the game and how do we play.
All right, so I'll start with myself first. As Peter Pan, my goal is going to be to rescue 5 of a type of character in Neverland. So I'm just going to flip these cards over real quick. There's the 5 mermaids, 5 fairies, and 5 lost boys. And so my goal is going to be basically to collect a set of whichever one I receive, right? So these cards are going to be random. I'm going to get one of them. And so once I collect, say, 5 lost boys, that's it. I win the game.
Okay.
And so my goal really is I don't want you to figure out which one I'm going for, because you're going to be setting the board up and you're going to be putting cards out and basically seeding it and setting traps for me. And so I want to make sure that I can collect my set of 5 without you getting onto it, because then you'll be able to trap me and make sure I can't get to my goal. Okay. And then what I'm going to also have in front of me, wrong cards. We want these here. There are going to be, so there are 10 total of these location cards, and I'm going to have 5 of them. So your goal is to guess which 5 I have. And once you do that, you win the game.
Okay.
And so if you notice in the top right corner of each of these cards, there are 2 symbols. So for the one I flipped over, Tiger Lily's Camp, there's a house and a mountain. And so basically throughout the game, you're going to be getting clues, and they're going to lead you to which 5 cards I have in front of me.
Okay.
Okay. So again, yep, my goal is to rescue 5 of a certain type of inhabitant in Neverland, and your goal is to guess the 5 locations that I have in front of me. And they'll all be listed on your reference card right here.
Yeah, I saw that.
So just to make it easier for you. I'm going to have 5 standees in front of me, all with different abilities, and you're going to have Hook and 2 pirates, so you can just randomly select 2 of the non-Hook pirates. And yours all have special abilities as well.
Well, gotta be Smee.
Yeah. Hook is the this one here. Yep. And then this one's Gentleman Starkey. This one's Checo.
And
they're all pretty good for you, so yeah, you'll be fine either way. Okay. So to start the round, you're going to draw 6 cards from the rescue deck here, or the Neverland deck. And you're going to put 2 at each location in any order of your choosing. So you can look at them and put them at 2 at each location.
Okay. And the goal of this here is to, like you said, bait you into picking certain roles, because I get an advantage if you pick a location and I pick the same location, correct?
So sometimes yes. So it's going to be up to you to figure out the best times to catch me and not, because when you put the cards out, if we go to different locations, I get the 2 cards from my location first, and then you get the 2 cards from your location.
Oh, okay.
And so sometimes you might want, because the cards that are going to have different, that's how you receive the clues for the hideouts that I'm hiding. So sometimes you might want to put 2 together and get 2, because you're going to get a lot more information when you get 2 cards.
Mm-hmm. And the ones that have the clues look like what?
So if you want to flip one of these
Do they
over,
have the clue tokens? Yeah, here I'll.
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, why don't you do that? I don't know what I'm doing
out here.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can talk a little bit
Yep.
about some of these cards.
So there are two main types, the silver ones and the gold ones. So the silver ones are the ones that are going to give you clues, and they're also the ones that are going to be what I'm rescuing. So this one here with the yellow is a wild. So when I rescue that, it would count as either a fairy, a lost boy, or a mermaid. This one here is just one fairy.
Okay.
If that makes sense. And any two of not my type also can count as one. So if I'm going for lost boys and I get two fairies or a fairy and a mermaid, that counts as one lost boy.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be the same one. It can be two different ones.
Yep, as long as I get multiple. It's just in case mine aren't coming up too. It's
right.
Rescuing different ones, and I don't want you to know which ones I'm going for right away. Right. So the top half is always my action, and the bottom half is always yours. So for the silver ones, that's what I'm rescuing, and for the silver ones on the bottom, these are where you get your clues. Actually, I'll go for this one on the end here first. There's a picture of a tree and a picture of like the plains, the sunset over the plains.
Right.
So I'm going to look at my 5 cards, and I'm going to put one of these black tokens here on this card for each of those icons on my hideouts. So if I have the hideout that has the tree and the plains, which is Fairy Grove, I'm going to put 2 tokens on there for that one. And then if I have any of the others with a tree, like the home under the ground, I'll put an additional token on there for that, and any that has the plains icon. So does that make sense?
Yeah. And when does that happen? Is that if you are in that row or if I'm in that row?
If you're in that row. So when you take it, you resolve the bottom half, which would be I give you clues for it.
So you would then give me those clues.
Yep. None came up, but there are also cards just like this one, but with just one icon on there. So it might be just the tree alone.
Right.
Okay. And then there's ones like this with 2. And then there are ones like these here that have 3 locations on them. So what I'm doing for those is I'm putting one icon for each of those locations I have. So if I had, say, the little house and lookout point, I would just be putting 2 tokens on there. And you'd know I have 2 of the 3, but you don't know which 2. So based on the information from these and all these cards you're getting, you have to figure it out, which 5 I have.
Okay.
So if we go to different locations, and then the gold cards are just action cards. So some have an exclamation point on them. None of them came up. If it has an exclamation point, it just resolved immediately. They affect like the belief track here, or they might have other actions that happen in the game. Any of these, like with the hand on the side of the title, those you can just use during the round when they're applicable at any time. So they just go right into your hand, and then you hold on to them until you decide to use them.
Till you want to use them. Okay.
Yep. So the first thing you do is you put 2 cards at each location. I'm going to pick secretly, so you don't know which location I'm going to go to, and I'm going to pick a character to go to it with. And as I said, if we go to different locations, I just take my 2 cards, and then you take your 2 cards, and we go on our merry way. And at the end of the
which ones let me select? How do I know which? Like, how do I say which location?
You also pick one pirate to go with. And then you put them on the location you're going to.
Okay, so do you know that before you?
No, so I pick first secretly, and then you say where you're going. You declare which one you're going to. Okay. Yeah. So there are 2 cards at each location. Oops, sorry. I'm a mess.
Here,
like so. Why don't you just stop touching things?
No, you can keep touching things, but I'll go ahead and just play the round as if I'm placing these. So
sure.
Yeah. Now, this discard one of Pan's rescue cards, is that these are these cards here at the bottom, right?
Yep. Any of these. So the rescue cards are all the silver ones.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So if you get that one at any point, you can just decide to get rid of one of mine. At any point during her, do you want me to just kind of whip through?
Yeah, go ahead. Yep. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and play through it.
Okay. So I'm gonna actually choose John, and so let me look real quick. Okay. Let me look at what card I see. Okay. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Chris, pick me a pirate.
I don't know. Let's go with the girl there. It looks like, or no, that's not a girl. Ha!
Chris is
the fancy
pirates
dressed
already.
one.
Oh, this Gentleman Starkey.
Gentleman Stark.
Yep. And I'll say don't go with Hook early in the game because his ability won't really help you right now. He'll help you later in the game. Hook, that is.
Let's see. Actually, I'm gonna lie. I'm gonna pick Smee.
Okay. I'm gonna draw 5 of these cards also. So that okay, there we go. So now I have my 5 locations.
Right. We kind of we jumped in suddenly, so
yeah, and I randomly picked one of these to be my things, and I'm not gonna lie or cheat. I know which one is mine.
Well,
okay.
I can see him too, so
yeah.
So yeah, no, I'll pick Neverwood here.
Okay. So I picked the Jolly Roger.
Okay.
So I get my 2 cards.
And then I get these 2 cards.
Yep.
Now these resolve immediately, right? Because they're the clues here.
Yep, they do. So once you move into your area, I'll put clues on there for it. Yeah. Or if I tell you how many, maybe you could do it because I'm horrible at this.
Yeah, you tell me. So we'll start with the first one here with the
tree and the plains.
Sunset.
All right, there are 4 on that one. If you want to put 4.
4 trees.
No, 4 total tokens. You don't know what they are. So
that's right.
So these you get if you catch me or I use an ability. And so these will tell you for one of my locations specifically what it has.
Okay, so amongst
you can't see my hand over here, correct?
No, I can't see.
Okay, perfect.
Anything you had so far. So for those 2 symbols, I know that or at least they show up on your 5 cards 4 times. Any combination of that.
Yes, so my cards may have 1 plane, 1 tree, or a plane and a tree, total of 4 total icons.
Right, amongst all 5 cards.
Yep.
Okay, and then what about this second card here?
So what is it? Never Falls, Mermaid Lagoon, and Home Under the Ground. I have 1 of those. So you can put 1 of these black tokens on there. So it's not a lot of info for you to go on right now.
Not quite.
Okay, so now the round is over, and you can, if you choose, you can make a guess as to one of my 5 locations. But if you're wrong, this moves 2 spaces towards me on the belief track. So once it gets to Tinkerbell here, you lose, and once it gets to the hook here, I lose.
Gotcha.
So if you're not sure, you might not want to make a guess.
Right.
So in this case, if he guesses and one of your locations is right, then it goes towards the hook.
No, if it's right, it doesn't move towards the hook. I reveal my location, and actually each of my characters here is related to one of the locations, so I would lose that character as well.
Yeah.
In that ability. Yep.
Okay. Well, so Chris, I'm going to talk logic with you here. I'm looking at these 3 locations, and one of them has a tree. And I was told that of his cards, he's got a tree. And so I feel like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm misunderstanding mechanics, but Home Underground seems like it has to be, right?
How do you know that he said it has a tree?
Because over here, of his 5 location cards, it asked, do you have trees or plains? And he's got 4 of them. I mean, I guess I could be wrong, and I could make the assumption that they're all plains.
Well, yeah, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's Home Underground, but that's logical to think that, except that this card here doesn't necessarily have anything to do with this card here.
Right, they're not these cards aren't linked.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah,
but I see what you're I see what you're getting at,
right.
And it is potential.
Okay, I'm gonna hold off. I appreciate that.
I would.
Okay, so when do I get to use my characters? Also have abilities. When do I get to use those?
So that's when we go to the same location. First thing that happens is I pick 1 card out of the 2, and then you get the second card. Then the character that I searched with gets removed from the game. I have to give you a clue for the location. So if that character was associated with, say, the home under the ground, which is the house and the tree. I could pick one of these tokens and say, okay, that character's place had a tree on it or something like that.
Okay.
And then you get to use your ability also. So it's so whenever we go to the same location is when you use your ability.
Okay.
Okay. So now we discard.
I'm not rating a location.
Okay. Yep. So these get discarded, and now you draw 6 cards, and we do it again.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Well, I guess I can just draw them in my hand.
So I guess I'm not quite sure I understand the difference in these tokens over here, and I apologize for that.
Okay, so these generic ones that are on his cards are just telling him how many of each of those types of things I have. When I give him one of these, I'm saying with one of the specific cards. So the cards in my hand were supposed to be standees in front of the characters, and so I had my 5 locations with 5 characters connected to them. And so basically, what these tell you is like if I'm giving you a clue for the location in front of my 5th character, and I put, say, this in front of it, the location in front of him, either one of the 2 icons is a planes. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So these are like specific clues, where these are general clues. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and then the specific cards, the rescue cards, are what forces you to give clues?
Yes.
Okay.
So whenever I use a character's ability or he catches me at a location is when I use these specific ones.
Gotcha.
All the rescue cards get the generic ones, though.
All right.
Let's see what we got out here.
Wow. I just want to point out that if you're supposed to be rescuing mermaids, this deck has set you up handedly.
There's a lot of good mermaids there, so I'm going to look at...
I do love the art. The art is very...
So I'm going to go with this one.
And it's just fun. It's just so much fun.
Yeah. I was trying to look for a good word for it, and yeah, fun is correct. It's like as I'm looking at these cards, I'm envisioning like an old like Peter Pan cartoon, and it's awesome.
Yeah, we were psyched. So we just gave Jackie, a general layout for what we were looking for each location, and she nailed every art piece every time. And I mean, she's just so good. And so every time we got one back, we were super excited to see what she had for us, and it was really great. Like, it was just so exciting every time we received something new.
So in doing something like this, where obviously it's modeled specifically after like Peter Pan and stuff like that, does one need to, like, for this, would you have had to seek sponsor or like licensing and stuff like that, or?
So this was tricky. The original book, the Peter and Wendy novel, is in the public domain, but the play and obviously anything Disney or anything beyond that is not. So I had to read the book many times and make sure everything we were referencing was like either specific in that book or not mentioned in any others. Do you know what I mean? Gotcha. And so if there was like a characteristic feature on someone that like maybe, Disney gave them, but it wasn't described in the novel, I was like, we can't use that just because we don't want anything to be touchy. So everything we had to use had to be based on the novel.
Based on the novel.
All right.
Okay.
So did you pick?
So this is all public domain because of it.
Yep. And so you chose that one. I chose the Neverwood, which is the blue one here.
Gonna be my other
choice. And I have Michael here. So you didn't go to a location with any action cards, did you?
I did not.
Okay. So then I'm not going to be using his ability. So basically now I could use his ability to discard an action card from a different location, from any location. And so, but since there are none at your locations, I'm not going to be using it. So I'm just going to take my cards here. I'll take this one. What do I got here? Yeah. Okay. And then what's this one here? Okay. Okay, are you ready for some clues?
I am, yes.
Oh, that's a good one too, the tree, because now you're going to know how many trees and how many planes, aren't you?
Right. I am.
Yep. All right. For trees, there are 2.
Gotcha. Okay. And then for these, so it looks like Fairy Grove, Slightly Gulch, and Kids Creek.
Yeah, for that one, I have 2.
Okay.
And so he doesn't get to see these cards in your hand.
Correct.
At
Yeah,
all.
those are my 5 locations. So
Gotcha.
normally those would be on standees, and they're in front of
Right.
each character. Yeah. So so that's why I just drew them in my hand, and I can see them left to right. So I'm just associating each of my characters left to right with each one.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
He can't see those cards in your hand, but me as a game master, I can, but I'm not
Okay.
going to give him any information.
Thank you. I appreciate you not
No
helping him.
I just want to know.
I'm just
Okay.
trying to get a good idea of the game.
All right. So there are 4 locations with trees here.
I do like this cute little dinosaur over here with this girl.
Right. So one of my other games, it's a family game called Dino Dude Ranch. That's Michael. And so he
Okay.
always has a stuffy. And I was like, can you give him a dinosaur just as a throwback for that game? And actually, the other Easter egg we have hidden in here, I'll when we're all done and we have all the location cards back out, in the Fairy Grove card, the fairies are colored the different colors of the fairies in groves. So they all look, yeah. So we threw some of our old games into.
I was thinking about that too because like I was just playing Groves the other day and I was, man, those colors, they're all matching up, you know.
Yeah.
But-
So we asked Jackie, we're like, can you hide some of these cool things in there? And she was like, yeah, definitely. And she just started doing it. It was great.
That's awesome. You got to love that when that happens.
Yeah, it was just cool. We had some fun ideas. We like to think of like little fun things like that to throw in each game. So are you going to make a guess? Do you think you have an idea?
I think I need to because you're already at 2 of your 5 with the wilds. And yes, it progresses me 1 here,
Yeah.
but
And just as a reminder too, when you use Hook, and there are cards that allow you to do it, if you end up at the same location as me with Hook, or if you get one of the cards, you can make 2 guesses at the end of a round when you do that.
but if they're both fails, then that's 2
Then you lose.
knocks,
So-
right?
So
Yep.
Chris, before you start your guess, walk me through what you're thinking here.
I'm not thinking anything right now.
Oh,
Well, so again, Dan's earlier statement was exactly what I was thinking. You know, I picked this tree so that I knew exactly, you know, of this card, which, okay, so I know of the 4, 2 are trees and 2 are plains, right? And so that's helpful, just to know of the, cards that have, these locations. That's kind of something just to keep in mind. There's 4 of each, right? And so, it's not like, 4 trees, so I can guess everything with a tree. So, I'm a little uncertain to exactly what it is. Of these 6 locations, I know there's 3 of them that kind of lock in. It's kind of just to be honest with you, just a shot in the dark. I think where I'm thinking. Chris, do you have any kind of? Well, I guess you probably couldn't tell me.
I couldn't tell you, but based on your logic, there's potentially. I mean, you might got something there, but I don't think it's the way you're looking at going.
I think he's saying don't guess yet.
I think that's what he's saying, but yeah, I'll hold off 1 more round. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Wait, which
You know what?
characters?
No, don't hold off. Guess.
Do it.
Do it.
Okay, fine. I'll guess.
I'll tell you,
say,
if you're wrong, although you moved 2 on the belief tracker, that's a lot of information because then it narrows down which ones I
Right.
don't have. It tells you a lot on the cards you have. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
this-
It is a lot of information.
But then you're gonna
if I pick this top card here, right? So if I pick this top one here, then if I guess the wrong one, then I know the 2 right ones.
right. And
So that's 2 of your 5.
and there's a lot of planes and tree symbols on there, so that might help you narrow down some of the others that you have as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Slightly Gulch.
I'm trying to.
Ooh.
Hey.
All right, yeah. So I don't know what I'm doing, but I tried to throw it at you there.
You did. It's in my hand now,
All
so I
right,
guess I can pull it out here.
Can I have it? And so that goes here. And now Wendy is out of the game. So
Okay.
I'll put her aside. I can't use her anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, you got one of my 5 locations. Good guess.
Nice.
That was a
Okay.
very good guess. That is not the direction I thought you were going to go, though.
It really, to be honest with you, last minute I said, you know what? I'm changing strategies. I'm just gonna guess the middle one.
Nice.
So it was
Okay,
truly a guess.
All right.
Right, it really was.
So since you did that, I'm going to actually play this card here to have you discard one of your cards. So I'm going to have you get rid of this one here.
Okay.
So basically, we're going to discard that and get rid of all the tokens on it.
Oh. Hopefully you remember that information, Chris.
Right?
I do.
Can't have you winning too fast. So, all right. So now we can do the next round.
Okay. You draw 6 here.
Oh.
So you said that you were going to do some component upgrades and stuff like that. What
Yep.
types of upgrades were you looking at doing?
Right. So, I don't want to spoil our Kickstarter live tomorrow, but no, I can tell you. Basically, obviously we're going to do some board upgrades. Like, right, the center board's going to be nice thick chipboard. All these tiles that are my locations going to be nice thick chipboard and everything. All the card stock will be upgraded card stock. But then, we were going to do some really cool things with the board that we probably can't do with our funding level now, but we'll probably die cut the board so that it's got holes with like a cube that can track all along this belief tracker here.
Okay.
So that'll be nice. That's one nice upgrade I love is the cube that nestles within the board. It'll be like a 2-layer board, so only the top half will be punched, and then the bottom half it'll sit on. Yeah, so that'll be really nice. And we're going to add actually a crocodile expansion that is basically it's going to include a crocodile standee and a deck of cards that one flips out each round. And Pan can put the crocodile on locations that might hurt Hook, or I can put him on my hideouts. And if Hook guesses that hideout, it'll be bad for him, kind of thing. So it just gives Pan a little more decisions to make, and it gives a timer for Hook. He has to guess within 7 rounds, or he loses. And so it just adds for a little more advanced gameplay and a fun crocodile standee. Which
Gotcha.
Right. I was just say crocodiles.
I could see that this game, like if this board, like is this the final art that we're looking at?
Yep.
I could definitely see. I don't know if it's anywhere close to in budget, but some spot UV treatment on different aspects would be.
Yeah, that would be really nice. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Sorry, I'm looking at the cards here.
Oh, no worries.
You gave me a lot of good options here.
So walk me through what you're thinking here, Dan.
Me?
Yeah. What are you looking at doing with the cards?
I'm looking at what I want, but I'm also looking at what I don't want you to get. So I know what information you have, and so I'm looking at these cards kind of as how much of my hand do I want to give you on my locations, and balancing that with which of these to go for. But man, there's so many things I want to do. Okay. I think I'm good. So I'm going to do this one. And hold on, I just want to... Okay. I'm going to use Peter Pan. Where is he? There he is.
Oh, and I was going to use Hook, so I appreciate that.
Oh, that's the perfect duel.
Now I'm going to pick Neverwood again.
All right, so
Ooh. Oh.
Yeah, sorry, I picked Marooner's
That's
Rock.
what I needed to know. That's why I did what I did.
All right, so let's see what I get. So I get to move the belief track 1. And then...
And is that because you used Peter Pan?
No, this card here that I got is just Neverland Games 1 belief. So it moves closer.
That's one of the exclamation points, right?
Yeah,
so it goes
yep.
Immediately.
And if you notice too, Jackie drew like fairy dust increasing as
Nice.
belief is increasing. Yeah, which
That's
is
so
really
great.
Yeah, I mean, she was so good, and the way she did these gold ornaments on the end of it, like it just looks so good, and the water spilling out of it is just amazing, and the locations written on the compass, she did a really nice job with it.
Yeah,
All right,
I love the art. It's very nice.
so what did you get?
I've got the wave and the hut.
All right, and just so you know, I'm going to include slightly gulch in my thing, just so like all the numbers are totaled, so you can just include that in the count, though. Okay.
Okay.
So it's the wave and the house. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So 3. What's the other one? Okay, for your other one, I just have 1.
All right.
All right, I'm actually gonna spend my card here,
Okay.
and I'm gonna just take. It lets me take 1 from another location.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, it doesn't. Oh, I discarded the wrong one the last time, I think. When I discarded your card, I think I got rid of the one that lets me take an action card from any.
Hey, Ottercat, it's
Yeah, this one.
actually in Kickstarter right now. There's 8 days left, just so you know.
Okay, so yeah, I played the wrong card earlier, but yeah, so I'm going to take that one and then discard this.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so it's my choice if I want to make a raid, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna guess Kids Creek.
It was a good guess.
That was a good guess. So, and actually, you got Peter.
Hey.
Oh,
Yeah, so now I can't use his ability, which is a good one, too. So, with Peter, when I use it, I would take a rescue card from any other location that we didn't go to.
Right.
gotcha.
So, that's pretty good. All right, so you have 2 of my 5 locations.
Now, Tinkerbell should have something, but she doesn't, right?
What do you mean?
She's just a. Does she have any special abilities?
Yep, so when I use her, I can discard one of these to move the belief tracker 1.
Okay, and I'm sure that's probably on the reference card, right?
Yeah, they're all listed here, all the abilities. So Michael allows me to discard an action card before we resolve our locations, and John lets me move to a different location if we end up at the same one.
Cool.
Yep, and then
think
Peter
we're-
lets me take a rescue card, and then Wendy makes Hook raids 1 less hideout this round. So if I use Wendy's ability, you wouldn't be able to guess that round, but you already got rid of her, so I can't use that one either.
Aha.
Yeah, so it was pretty good for you.
I think I'm definitely gonna name the tokens when I get a chance to change this stuff around.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. People can't share links. I'm gonna see if I can pull the link up real quick and post it in the chat for everybody. There you go, guys. There's the link.
Okay.
All right. And just so you know, if we end up at the same location, I pick first unless you use me.
Yes.
Let's see what's out there. Okay.
So how many iterations did this game go through before it finally got released? Or before it got to this stage? Aside from, of course, the Boston Tea Party
So he
aspect.
had his original game, which only had 2 locations that we went to. So it was a lot more likely we went to the same locations. We added the third. And then shortly after that, we added the belief track because we wanted a secondary way to win if your cards weren't coming up or something to penalize Hook. So originally it was just 2 wrong guesses total and you lose, but I wanted ways to be able to manipulate it. So so we added this in to kind of do both of those. And then we added in characters and their abilities. Well, we wanted the characters and give them some use, and then we came up with their abilities and doing that. So, I mean, there were like 4 major iterations with a lot of little iterations in the middle.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. So I think the problem is this is a bad hand of cards is what this is. So I'm going to do this. No, I don't want to do that. I know what you're doing. I'm going to do this and this.
And was it always 5 versus 3?
Say that one more time.
Was it always 5 versus 3 characters? Like so?
No. So originally it was. Yes, it was. But hooks were in his hand, and it was just like you could use one time during the game, and that was it. But then we thought it would just be better to make it more thematic if you used it when you went to those locations. And so you're going to red, huh?
Yep.
I did not expect that. All right. I thought you were going to blue, and I didn't want to get caught. Because that has the most information for you, right? Oh, no, actually, they both, yeah. So I went to yellow. And so, let's see. So Neverland gains 1 belief for this card. And then I'm actually going to use Tinkerbell's ability. So I'm going to discard her. I'm going to discard this card here to add one more belief.
You straight up got rid of Tinkerbell.
Yeah, but now I have to give you a clue for this one. So there's that.
So that's Tink's clue to her
Tink's location has 2 icons. One of them is a mountain.
Okay.
And then I got this card.
I'm starting to see how this works.
Yeah. So now you get these cards.
Mm-hmm. And can I play those immediately?
Yep, any with a hand. You can play as many in a round as long as you have them and the timing is appropriate and you want to use them. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to discard one of your rescue cards. I specifically want to come at these wilds.
Yep, that's probably a good idea.
So I think that was this one. And do I want to make 2 guesses this turn? So the problem is 1 missed guess results in you winning the game, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Hey, he's got you backed into a corner, Chris.
I know.
This might be one of the rare instances that a guest wins at their game.
Well, calm down there.
I try not to, but
it's not yet, right? Not yet.
Right.
He hasn't won anything yet.
Yeah, he's still got to progress it.
But you have a lot of information over here too.
I do. I really do. That's what I'm trying to.
Oh yeah, and if you want to, so if we get enough funding beyond, we're going to add a pad too. So if you wanted to write the names down and cross off things you think or whatever, feel free to do so. Right. Feel free to do so.
I'm kind of using the tokens, right? And so
yeah. So I can't see. They're just random for me, all over the place. So
he's got
they are for me. They are for me too. Yeah, but you just have to decide what pattern it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna hold another round.
Okay.
Well, if you do that, he might be able to win it next round anyway by advancing the belief counter, depending on what he's
Right,
got.
but he has to do that with like none of his.
He
Let me
doesn't
make
have any cards
sure.
that can do that right now.
No, and I
Let
don't
me
have
just-
Tinkerbell anymore.
Right, and that was the other thing too. I'm just making sure none of his other things let him move belief.
No, nothing else does except for cards. There are 5 cards in the deck that allow you to do it. I don't know how many have come up. I think 2 or 3 have come up at
At
least.
least I think 3.
Yeah. Oh, I can't look at those. They're in your hand.
Right. And so how you're seeing those now is exactly how he sees your location.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Well, I mean, different backing, of course.
Right. Cool.
Because it should show the back of the type of card that it is, right? You should see the compass on those.
Yep. I see the back of the compass on those. And I see the back of the hideouts here, which I'm guessing is what he sees over here.
Yep. That is exactly correct.
Interesting.
It's a part of it that I didn't get to test, so I'm glad it's working.
Yeah, no, it looks great. Like I said, when you sent me the picture too, I was like, wow, that looks really good.
But if you had like a nice like art, like kind of like to match the background of the board to put down on the tabletop, I think it would look really snazzy.
If we did like the sky with the stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I bet
pretty
we could
snazzy.
pull that because it's on the it's in the corners of these cards as well, the with the compass. So yeah, that would look really nice. Oh man. I have no idea where you're gonna go. Oh my gosh. That's tough for me. All right.
And
Let's
so
see.
basically you're trying to avoid giving, you want to get something for yourself that you can use against him, but at the same time you don't want to give him any sort of information, right?
Exactly. So
Because
I'm
any
trying to.
additional information may cause
Well,
him to win
because
the game.
there are some of these, like some of the ones with the 3 locations. Like if I give him 1 or 2, he'll have to like think through what he's got. But if there's one with 0 or 3, I'm in trouble because that tells him pretty much everything. So I got to make sure he can't get those cards, or some of the ones that'll help him out a little more. So.
And so I do have to ask, what are the maybe you said this and I missed it. What is the significance on the top of the cards with Peter and the Lost Boys and Peter and the fairies?
Oh, so it's just Peter's there to let you know that that's my action, because I do the top half and Hook does the bottom half.
Right, but in the case of I'm probably missed it. The
There are Lost Boys and Fairies. So I have a gold card over here. There are 3 of them, but I picked one that's going to be mine. So my goal is to either rescue 5 Lost Boys, 5 Fairies, or 5 Mermaids. And Chris doesn't know which 5 I'm trying to rescue. So.
Gotcha.
Right. So I'm trying to collect them
picked?
here. Yeah, I am good. All right.
Oh, and then I get it. Then the mermaids. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna hate this though. I use John. His power is I can go to a different location if we go to the same location.
That's fine.
No.
So I'm gonna swap that out. And
Do I not get to use Smee's ability then?
Right.
Well, I guess because.
So I'm gonna go here.
Okay.
Yep. So now I'm gonna go to this location, and then you're here. So I'm gonna take.
Oh, he really doesn't know because currently you have 4 Lost Boys and 4 fairies, or I mean 4 mermaids.
I have 3. Yeah, four Lost Boys. I have 4 fairies, and then
you have 4 of everything.
4 of everything.
6,
yeah.
You have actually now you have 6, 7
you don't
Lost
have
Boys.
4 of everything.
No, I have 4 Lost Boys,
3 of
3
the other
fairies, and 3 mermaids. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So what do you got over here?
Does this Lost Boy up here not count any yet?
No, that did. Yeah.
So then you have 7.
7. Oh no, they count as 1 of each.
Well, yeah, it's not the 3
Oh,
Lost
Sorry.
Boys on there.
Sorry. Yeah. They count as 1 of each, and then this one that has 1 of each counts as a wild, so it's any one of them.
Got ya. Okay.
All right. So what do I got to feed you here for information?
So I need to know mountains and waves.
Okay. 6.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, that's so helpful to you. I knew it would be too, but come on.
Okay, and then
I didn't have a good option there, though. That was tough.
it looks like this one up here,
Which one?
the Fairy Grove, the Never Falls, and the Home Underground.
I have one of those.
That's for that one. Okay. So many things.
Yeah. But man, I think you can probably figure out all my 3 from what you have now.
But he only gets one guess, right?
He could guess 2 if he uses his card.
Yeah.
But either way, he can't win this turn.
Correct.
Well, you better start guessing, Chris.
I plan on it.
He will.
So what's coming up next in your game lineup?
For me,
Yeah.
So a lot of my projects I'm working with other people, so they're kind of early, so I can't say too much. But one of my projects is I'm going to be working with another kind of indie publisher about this, similar to me, and we're going to co-publish a really cool game. So that's kind of next on both of our dockets. So once this is done, we're gonna be moving forward with that. And then I'm also working on something non-board game related, but kind of tangentially related. It's not a board game though. And so I don't know, we're gonna have a lot of information coming in the next few months that are really cool projects coming out of the pipeline.
And are you planning on going to Origins?
Unfortunately, I can't make Origins this year. Just my wife and I work opposite schedules, and she's a nurse, so she doesn't get a lot of vacation time. So with our 2 kids, it's just hard to make a lot of these. And so as of right now, I can't go, but working on ways to get presents at pretty much all the cons, even if I can't make them. So unfortunately, I can't meet you there, but hopefully maybe next year.
Any thoughts about PAX Unplugged?
That I'm looking into, because that's not too far from me either. I'm in Western New York, so it's not too far from me. Yeah, so hopefully we'll see,
Okay, I'm going to make a guess.
Ooh,
I'm super scared.
I'm excited.
Never Falls. No, I didn't.
So just so you know, it had to be.
Producer Matt was telling me.
Just to talk through it too for everyone watching too. So it had to be Never Falls, had to be on there, because this one that has 6, and I only have 5 cards, so you had to have one on each, and then one that was a double. So you knew it was the one that had both symbols on it.
Oh, see, I didn't think that way.
You knew that. You knew that.
But I had a strong.
But now, because this had 1 on it, right? So you know that. Oh, right. You have so much. That's why I think you have everything now, because the ones you know it's not, and how many trees there. This is bad for me. I have to win it. I have to win it because you're gonna. Are you gonna make a second guess?
I am. I'm just kind of compartmentalizing the things that I need here.
Tell you, if you write the list down on a piece of paper, it might help, but
right.
You don't have, because like right from the one that has the 1 clue, the other 2 it's not, because you already have them out.
Right.
He's gonna do it. I'm in trouble now.
Look at this paper. Look at me doing math.
I hear pens clicking out there. This is bad news.
Okay. So I've got.
Oh. Hello?
Can you still hear me?
Oh, yeah. I cut out for a second, but you're back.
So I guess I don't. I know that Matt's producer Matt's been asking questions, and I think he's probably meaning for Chris Walters to pick up on these. But Oh, he's
No, he
saying
means
me.
you
Okay.
while I'm sitting here doing logic.
So how much play testing have you done to balance this the way it's balanced right now? Because it seems to be balanced quite well.
Yeah, no. So we've done a lot of. I mean, it's hard to put a number on it because we got a lot of plays out of it. But I mean, pretty much every opportunity, right? So I mean, where it's 2-player, it's really easy to get to the table, right? And so my wife and I would play it a lot. But then we have a lot of local playtest groups, so I would hit them up every iteration or every change, and different groups, which is great. I have some groups that are kind of casual gamers, some that are more heavy gamers, and so we were able to get a lot of perspectives with that. But then also where Scott and I are separate from each other, he was able to kind of do the same. So every iteration, we would both bring it to like all of our legions, you know what I mean, and get a
Gotcha.
lot of good playtests. And I know Scott, I mean, I think he has a ridiculous number of groups, like something like 8 groups he plays, or something insane. So he is able to also when he needs to get playtests out, he can do a lot. So he we both just a lot of iterations. But what's nice is, like I said, where it's 2-player, you can see a lot better with what's going on, right? So we'd play a game, and then we'd play another game and say, okay, well, it's really hard for Hook. Like in the beginning, it was very hard for Hook because I mean, you're doing a lot of deduction. There were times where I could set the board originally in the game, it went every other. And it just it just was way too difficult for you. So that's why we initially added some of your powers in you haven't really used any this round, but we wanted to give you something that edged you out. And then me with the powers, I still give you these clues now. So it's just more information for you. And then we, altered the action cards, but we were kind of, every time we played, where it was just 2 players, you could kind of focus on what was happening really easily and see where was working and where was kind of way off.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I liked it. I like doing a 2-player only game. I'm not sure, like I said, we're having some, some of the troubles with gaining the traction. I'm not sure if it's because it's 2-player only or, the family friendly art, which, Kickstarter, if it's not miniatures and like 1 to 5 players, it's, it's hard. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure if it's the 2-player only thing, but I love 2-player only. So I'm happy to work on them and keep playing them and publishing them.
Yeah, I'm not. I'd love to get some more 2-players. This is definitely going in my basket. But
Cool.
it's because, like you said, you and your wife, you play all the time, and I've been trying to find more and more games that I can play with my wife because there's a lot of times, like you said, just us sitting here at the house. Let's
Yeah.
play a game, and not all of them are set for 2 players. I mean, a lot of them want 3 or 4 or something like that to play well.
Exactly. Yeah. And then there are some games like we play and it just doesn't jive for one of us. And so that's why I like this, because you kind of have the 2 roles. And if there's anything you don't like, you can take the other role and it kind of, you can set it for your your partnership and however it works best. So you making a second guess? I'm excited for this because you lose if you're
I'm
wrong.
sorry. I'm so excited about thinking things that I have. It's choice paralysis, essentially.
Do you think you have it though? Like, do you know my last 2?
I think I've got one of the 2.
Okay.
Which means that I can probably just make a choice here.
Now watch him be wrong.
So no more.
There's a lot riding on it.
Right, because if he guesses wrong, it's over, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll tell you, so the last time I played this, you were talking about the balance. The last time I played it this weekend, Ian Zhang, he's a designer developer. He did Constellations.
Yeah.
And he visited this weekend and we played it. And he guessed my 5th card. And I had 4 cards. Basically, the next round, I was going to win it. And the way it worked out, he got a card and made a guess before I was able to get my card. And he won. And it was so close. And we were all like, waiting on that last round. Oh, what happened was he got a card to make 2 guesses. So he made 2 guesses before we could go into the final round, and he took it. It was rough.
That's great.
Yeah, so it works out. Like when you can go to the last round like that, it's really exciting.
So out of curiosity, like we've been seeing a resurgence of starting with Fire in the Library and stuff like that. They're starting a trend where people are going to be able to, buy extra copies of the game to put them out into the libraries and stuff like that. And so one of the things that we as Geekspiel are looking at potentially doing is helping out local libraries and everything. Would you be open to people doing that with your retailer pledge, or are those going to be absolutely only for brick and mortar stores.
Why don't you PM me more information and we can
Sure.
talk? Yeah.
Okay. On that note, I will keep us in suspense no longer.
Ooh.
I'm going to make a
Alright.
second guess here.
Yes.
Lookout Point.
Ooh, you got it.
Yeah, I have you figured out. So it's gonna be.
So
Can you win this round?
Do you know the last one then?
I believe I do. Yes.
Oh no. Okay. What do I have left? I have Michael left. What is Michael have? Discard an action card. Oh wait, no. Yeah. Because John was at Lookout Point. So you got John, and that was the Lookout Point's the mountain, right? It's got a mountain on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's what this token was from.
Okay.
Oh,
so
man.
1, 2,
Oh,
3.
man.
I think he's got all the information he can tell.
Yeah, so it's really how he can manipulate this round to make sure I don't get what I need before he gets to the guess.
Right.
Oh man, this is exciting. Oh man.
Neverland.
Oh,
So
man.
you have the ability to gain the belief.
And if I get it, so my cards resolve first before you raid, just so you know.
Right, but if he puts Hook on the same location, then he gets something, right? Or he gets able to do something?
So if he puts Hook on the same location, he just makes 2 guesses at the end of the round. So that wouldn't stop me from gaining belief. Smee allows him to choose cards first, so there's that.
I'm holding this off for just a second.
Got to see what else is out there. I can't wait. The suspense is literally killing me.
Okay, so how would he activate one of his abilities? He actually just removes the pirate from the game?
No. Once we go to the same location, it just automatically activates, and he can do that as many times as we go to the same location.
So, from what I can tell, his best bet would be to use his gentleman.
Which one's Gentleman Starkey there?
Yeah, gentleman.
To gain a belief.
Uses a belief.
Either that, or do you want me to
Because
talk strategy while we're playing? Well, Smee also lets him pick first. So if he separates the belief, he can make sure I can't get it.
Well, yeah, but doesn't but on the one location there's 2 gain beliefs.
He can separate them, right? Because he can pick anywhere how he wants him to go. But he'd still have to hope we go to the same location. That's tough.
Right.
It's going to be an interesting final round.
Yeah, dang.
That's fun. Sure.
Okay.
This is crazy because not only does he have to guess right, but now there's like huge amounts of strategy involved. This is intense.
Right? This is a very tense final round. Okay. Oh man. Okay. So
Because all of it depends on you both going to the same place.
oh man. Yeah, no, that was a really good play on your part there. Because you're going to use Starkey and then lose a belief as well if I go there. But if I just let you go there, you're just going to move this twice. Does that matter? Oh my gosh. That was an awesome play, man. Good job. All right, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do this.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer, locking in.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question because I feel like, so I want to make sure I'm not. If I were to, what I was actually thinking about doing is putting Smee here, because if we both go to the same location, you lose one first.
Yep.
And you would gain one, but you would essentially be a stalemate. And since I'm confident in my last answer,
well, so Starkey here. Right, his ability is Neverland loses belief. So if you use him and I go here, So actually, you did it the right way because I would go first, which would do this, but then he would make it lose one and lose one again because Stark would make me lose one and then you get the card. But
Right.
mine
But
activate
you would get
first.
to choose first,
Yeah,
which
so
would
it
make
would
you
go.
win.
Right. So the way you did it with Smee is the right way
That's
to
what
go.
I was planning on doing.
But then I figured there wasn't anything I could do to stop that, so I went somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I'm using Michael because it's the final round, and why not? So his ability is to just discard one of those. Oops. I'm just throwing pieces around the table. So I just discard one of those,
Cool.
and I get to give you a clue, and not that it's any new information to you, but there's a tree on my thing here. And then I get these cards. Okay. So I get this one and this one. I don't think I can beat you. Yeah, so you got me.
So I've got it as long as I've got the correct location.
You have to have that correct.
Oh, so then wait. So you get your card first, which oops, I just threw it there.
He's angry. He's gonna flip the table.
Our guest is angry.
Flip the whole table. I can't believe it. Yeah, you definitely beat me on this one.
So
You're right.
I would like to, I'm just making sure. Never bird nest.
He got it.
You got it.
I did.
And like that. And so I, if you want to see,
And was it the Lost Boys?
Yeah, it was the Lost Boys.
Okay.
And so I almost got it. So I would have totally had it if you didn't discard. You discarded one in the game, and that was great for you because I would have had it if you hadn't. So
right, and so I knew I had to take it that card that round, and I think I even used Smee to hold that location.
Yeah,
because I needed you to not have you getting those two wilds off the bat.
That was a good start for me. Yeah.
And when they both land, in the first.
Yeah, that was tough. The first flop, right? First two, they came out.
Right.
Yeah.
They came out.
But
So,
I mean, you got it, and you got through the deduction, and you guessed all five, which was awesome.
gosh.
So the Geek Spill retains its streak of beating its hosts.
I can't
Yeah,
believe that.
Beating
Yeah,
its
nice
guests.
yeah.
Dan, I don't know if people told you this, but we have a now it has been, I would say, a tradition here at Geek Spiel that when people bring their games onto the show, we make them lose them.
Oh, you don't tell the audience, but you're like, you need to throw this one.
No, and honestly, we've never told anyone, say, hey, you should really lose this game. It's like it's actually all been like legitimate. I think the only one was Fire in the Library where like the cubes were messed up.
I lost Fire in the Library hard.
Oh yeah, Carla's awesome. By the way, did you play with Carla or Tony?
No, no, we didn't.
Yeah, it wasn't Carla. It was was it Tony or was it the other guy? I can't remember. Names are terrible with me. I apologize to anyone I have offended by not remembering
now who we had.
But considering that you had a fit of rage and knocked over the
I just threw cards at the pieces.
Do you want to do the honors of a table flip?
How do I do that?
Just hit the
There's a
flip button on the
button
top.
up at the top says flip.
It's satisfying. There you go.
Oh yes, that is awesome. I love it.
Well, Dan, I will tell you now that this game is phenomenal. I loved it. I would definitely say that Hook's hard. I mean, Hook's not
hard.
easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like Pan is easy either.
There's a lot of it looks, like I said, it's a set collection, so it feels like it's straightforward, but there's a lot you have to do with managing your abilities, managing the cards you're getting, where you're going and what, if you're going to go to the same spot as Hook, or there were a couple times I knew where you were going and I thought about splitting with you and I was like, no, it's better for me to just get everything at the other spot. And yeah, so there's a lot going on.
Yeah, and that's what I find interesting is this I really was trying to bait you several times and be like, pick this one over here, because I was wanting to do it. I was wanting to split it. And because some of those, I would put, before I knew you had the Lost Boys, some of those I would put, okay, is it, are you picking Lost Boys or are you picking the fairies, right? And I wanted to force you to pick a priority.
Yeah. No, yeah, you definitely did.
That.
And so a lot of times, though, when I felt like you were doing that, I either picked a character with an ability I wanted to use, or I found a location with an ability, right? Like, because there was the one where I got to discard your clues, and then another one where I could take from another location. I was like, great, I'm not going to get what I want now, but it'll come up later, and I'll just take it, and he won't know what I'm going for then. You know what I mean? And so, so I did a lot of that future planning when I knew you were trying to trap me.
Right. Yeah, no, like I said, and in our chat, like, so I've ignored chat most of the night, and I apologize. That's not my typical.
Oh, it's okay. It's all right.
One of the things that one of the comments made was, liking deduction games where it isn't just straight bluffing, and I feel like this is, again, truly a deduction game. So you have that opportunity to guess and think strategically and kind of like narrow down your choices. But yeah, it had nothing to do with you. Outside of you picked the 5 from the beginning, which was a random draw. It wasn't like I was looking at you and saying, Dan, tell me this, right? It was purely just here we go.
Puzzle solving, yeah. And so that's why I tried, because I felt like that was something that we didn't connect with right away on the Kickstarter page. And so what I did recently, and actually everyone listening or checking this out can check it out too on my Facebook page, I posted a deduction puzzle from this game. So basically there are some hooks clue cards with clues on them. And basically there's enough that you should be able to guess the 5 locations. And anyone who does it gets entered in. I'm going to give away a Zool. And so it goes till 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So
yeah, I saw that. I saw you posted about that today.
Yeah, no, that's just, I wanted people to try the deduction to see there's more to it than just, like you said, it's not bluffing and it's not lying. It's trying to do this puzzle solving.
Well, let's do a little bit of that right now, because I know the project hasn't gotten quite the traction after that first spot that I think you were looking for. So why don't because I think this is an easy part for us to cut and just kind of talk about, give you a platform for just a few minutes to just talk about, what do you think this game does well? What do you think folks will love about this game? And then Chris and I can chime in too about some of the things we really enjoy.
Yeah, well, I'll say, the things it does well is, one, the deduction and the puzzle solving. I think, playing as Hook and you guess, I think on either side, when there's a guess, even if he's right, like it's this, the exciting moments. There's a lot of those gotcha or exciting moments in the game. The puzzle solving is fun. It's a very different feel for the 2 players. So like, even though we're picking cards and doing it, I mean, you and I are playing very different games, and it feels that way, which is, I love, because I'll play as Pan one day and Hook a different, and it feels like you're playing 2 different games. And so I think, those are the things that we tried to hit with it, was really the feels, the feelings you're feeling during it, and then the gameplay feelings, and how it's different and exciting. And yeah, so that, I think that's really, the game captures all of that really well.
Okay, Chris, what are your thoughts on the game? Like, what do you think this game does super well?
So when I first looked at it, I was like, man, this looks like it's going to be super simple, and that it's like you said, the cartooniness kind of throws people off maybe a little bit, and I can definitely see that. But ultimately, like, this is so complex, more complex than anyone gives it credit for, is what I'm seeing, and to me, it's like, just watching both sides of this, you're right. 2 completely different games. There's so many different strategies that I would never have even guessed were in this based on the initial explanation. And I feel that, like, this is something that my wife and I could sit down and have a ton of fun with, and repeatable fun. Not just like you said, not just one time, oh yeah, okay, we got this down, we can win it every time, or I can win it every time I play against her. But then we just switch roles and it's completely different. I like it. I like it a lot.
Thank you. Great. I'm really happy to hear that.
I would, so I've got all the things to say, and Dan, if you've not watched the show, this is pretty standard for me. I would say, yeah, I agree with Chris on that point, that like, it did, not that cartoony is bad, right? Not that simple is bad. And I loved watching Bebo do their review of it too, but like, to be able to, like, that concept of, I can play this with a child and I can have a good time, at first made me think, wow, okay, is this game just like a fun game? And I'll go to chat here. Producer Matt, I think gave you, Dan, a review that I hope you appreciate, which is he's played a lot of games with me, and typically we are joking and chatting the whole time. If you've seen the show, again, I don't typically have someone laying in the wings just like answering questions. Like, while I'm making moves, I'm asking our guests questions. You had my full attention this whole time. Like, again, at one point I pulled out a notepad, and
that's great.
And I was like, I'm not going to do it. but I had to, just because like conceptually, just to figure it all out. Like I thought I had it, but I wanted to double check, and I was so engrossed with the complex. Like this game had me, like definitely gears turning. Steam was being produced, right? And so it has that ability to be, I think, even on the Peter Pan side, like I know you said simple or easier, the mechanic is more set collecting than puzzling. So yeah, okay, for some folks that feels easy, but again, like you said, it didn't seem, you had strategy there. So it wasn't just like, oh, I'm picking cards at random, And so it's not a simple game. No, you're fine. It's not a simple game. I mean, it can be, if you don't want to throw a lot of thought into it, right? I could have picked willy-nilly, but like there was definitely, especially I would say, I agree on the Hook side, there was a lot of decision making that I had to do there. So I would, definitely say, and folks, this is a 2-player game, right? And we see all of these big, 1 to 5s or 2 to 5s out there, and for a 2-player game, I think oftentimes we think, okay, cool, like this is, we're doing the same thing. We're just, it's essentially
just trying to be better than the other person, right? Like you're doing the same thing and just trying to do it better.
Right. But this was truly that I mean, and some folks don't like asymmetric, but I think it's interesting. I like a defector mechanic. I like these pieces where I have one role and you have another. That truly made it, for me, a challenging 2-player, where it's not like I could say, oh, Dan did this really great move, so I'm going to do it too, because that doesn't make sense.
It wouldn't help at all, right?
Right. We have 2 different missions here. And so it's definitely a more complex game than I originally said or thought. The art is beautiful. The mechanics work really well. And I think the thing that I love about it is that I like had a great time, kind of playing with the theme of it. I'm a huge theme person, and I think that there are themes that can be overlaid, in different capacities, but like this theme really worked, right? You really did feel you felt the I'm Captain Hook and I'm against Peter Pan, and like I really felt it. I really felt the theme. Again, I think you could put multiple themes with it, right? It sounded like, again, the Boston Tea Party was the original theme overlaid, but I think that this theme in particular really made this game stand out. It was just phenomenal. So I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. If my recommendation means anything to anyone, please go back this game. You have 8 more days, so you have plenty. Again, you got some stretch. So I'm hoping this gives you all some traction, and we see this funded for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate anything you say about it like that. That's great. It's really nice to hear that. And it was great playing with you. And I can't believe you beat me. I had to flip the table. That's horrible.
Well, and it wasn't like someone else was hurting you. This was just purely me. So like typically we win the games because, and I will say this, right, that like we always are harder on the guest, I think, sometimes, because, like they know their game, right? When Keith was here playing role player, I think everyone kind of went for Keith at the beginning and was just like, I'm going to stop Keith from winning. And it allowed someone else to win. But I think the thing that here is like, no one else was against you, so that feels fun. I beat a creator at their own game.
Good job. No.
Also,
just let me pat myself on that.
If it matters for anyone else, like Chris said, I fully I'm going to go back this game myself, and so I suggest that everyone go out and do it as well. I'm gonna do everything I can to get it out in front of people. I'm gonna post it on my Facebook that has a lot of people on there, but I don't ever tweet or do anything there. I'm going to tweet it out, do everything. So, because I really enjoyed this. This was, even just watching it, and watching Chris go like kind of like this, watching his gears turn and having him shut up for a minute to try to figure it out. It was enjoyable just watching that, and so I feel that we'll have some good time. The quiet moments. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me. I really had fun.
No problem.
Right, Dan. I wanted to give you one more chance to say any last pieces about the Kickstarter, or what do you want? Again, you said a little bit about what do you want folks to know, but give you one more chance to shout that out.
Yeah, we have 8 days left, and we have a lot of time. And I mean, the funding, the way it looks right now, we're at like 6,400, 6,500, and the goal is 10,000. So the gap looks big, but 4,000 is really nothing. And like we could get there really quickly and easily. So anyone who sees it who's interested in backing, every pledge counts, even if it's for a partial pledge. We're also willing to bundle in any of our previous games as well. And even if they're not listed on the campaign page, I will bundle in anything that we've published prior to this that we have in stock. And so if you want multiple Neverlands or Neverland and Groves, we're happy to do any combination of type of games that we have. Just, to help us get the funding. And we have some cool upgrades planned, even if we just barely fund. But if we fund and then end up having a really great final week, we have some other cool upgrades as well. So we're ready for whatever happens with this. We just want to get it to fund and get the game made. So thanks for, the opportunity to share it with everyone.
Right, for sure. Well,
Yeah.
Chris, do you have any last minute things you want to say?
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to put this on Tabletop Simulator for you. I had a blast putting it together and watching it played. It was great. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, thank you for putting it on there for me. You did a great job with it, and you did it in no time at all. So that was great. Thank you.
Cool.
No problem.
Well, on behalf of myself, Dan, and Chris, Matt back at the mothership, that's all we have for Table Crashers this week. We're going to be here. We're going to be present. We're going to be around on Sunday. I don't know what we're talking about yet, so maybe we'll throw out a Twitter poll. We haven't. I do know. Producer Matt back at the mothership said press your luck mechanics. So I will talk about how much I despise this game mode. More because I'm bad at it than I actually don't like it. But yeah, that's it. So have a great night, and we'll see you on Sunday.